All right, the latest news break coming in. CBI sources have claimed Karti Chidambaram was destroying evidence in the INX Media case. Now, the latest coming in is that agencies received information that Karti was trying to destroy evidence when he was in the United Kingdom this time. CBI sources claim Karti was not responding. CBI took the decision to arrest him on the grounds that he was trying to destroy evidence. CBI Chennai unit was waiting for Karti to come out of immigration. CBI questioned him about his recent visit to the United Kingdom, took him under arrest. Munish Pandey is on the phone line with me. Munish, so the basic premise that the CBI today has made that arrest is under the fact that they believe he was trying to possibly destroy evidence, destroy the money trail which could land him in trouble. Is that the reason why this arrest was made today?
Yeah, well, Preeti, this case was lodged by the Central Bureau of Investigation last year. Since then, they are carrying out the investigation. They have the documentary evidence in this case, the details of the transaction, and some documents in original. That is the original papers which the CBI has in this regard. But recently, CBI got the information that Karti Chidambaram is trying to destroy the evidence. Now, CBI, after getting a confirmation and this serious input, they wanted Karti to be arrested because remember, in this case, the main evidence are the documentary evidence, and if these evidences are destroyed, then CBI will have nothing to prove before the court, and that is why CBI went ahead and arrested Karti Chidambaram, who will be introduced in Delhi this evening.
All right, Munish, thank you for that quick update. Now, Karti Chidambaram had in fact sought permission from the court to travel abroad, which he did. The CBI now has said that, alleged that he was not taking any calls when he was in the United Kingdom, and he in fact tried to destroy evidence. I want to immediately bring in Anusha Soni, and the reason I get her in, as well as Rajiv Dubey, our Business Today editor, and Anusha Soni, who's our ace court correspondent, because this case has also been going on in court, in the Supreme Court, the counsel of Karti Chidambaram being Kapil Sibal. And Anusha, how many times has the Supreme Court mentioned or asked the CBI to actually give details of possible accounts where this bribe money or the kickbacks have been, deposited into, possibly, get the money trail going? Has the counsel of the CBI been able to establish that in court?
Objectives are not really. There have been apprehensions the CBI has.
Anusha, we are having an audio problem with you. We're going to try and connect that. There's an audio problem. We're going to just try and connect that. I'll bring in Rajiv on that, and we'll come back to Anusha. Rajiv, because there are two sides to what is going on, especially, of course, the political vendetta business, which the Congress wants to talk about. But when you purely look at the merits of this case and what is being presented today in the court of law, the Supreme Court had in fact asked the CBI to give details of where have these kickbacks gone to. Have they been foreign accounts? What has been the latest on that?
So I'm only relating to precisely what Anusha was telling us just before her line got disconnected. Essentially, what she has been, the hearings that she has been attending, she has been saying that the court has been asking CBI and ED to give them details, that they have been alleging this 3.5 crore bribe had been paid. They have been asking both of them, both the investigating agencies, to give them details of which bank accounts, after all, have these bribes been paid, these alleged bribes been paid. And the investigating agencies have not been able to come up with evidence of the payments or the bank accounts so far. So remember, what is the case here? The case here is that the investment was made into INX Media, and after that they had also asked for permission to invest 26% of that investment into INX News channel, INX News, which was to be started. Now that investment into INX News was rejected by FIPB. The CBI says that after it was rejected, the INX Media Group hired Strategic Consulting, a firm that they say was controlled by Karti Chidambaram. After it was hired, they were asked to make a fresh application for investment into INX News Media, and in 2008 it was approved. So that's the allegation, and the allegation is that because this firm was involved, and after the rejection,
and his father was the finance minister,
and so there would have been
quid pro quo.
quid pro quo.
All right. Okay. Rajiv, stay on with me. We've got Anusha back. Anusha, you know, away from the politics, looking at the merits of the case on what has been presented in court today, has the CBI been able to prove, which the Supreme Court has asked the CBI, to actually establish bank accounts on where these kickbacks that they're talking about have been deposited in?
So let's put it into perspective, Preeti. Just the breaking news that we heard, that the CBI is saying that Karti Chidambaram is not cooperating with the investigation and he's trying to tamper the evidence, are the very cliche and other, most sought after arguments that an investigating agency takes whenever an arrest is made. Now, in the case of Karti Chidambaram, how was Karti Chidambaram not cooperating? If you go back about 8 to 10 months ago, there were repeated summons, he did not answer them. After the instance of the Supreme Court, every time the CBI or the ED has called him for questioning, he has in fact gone in and done that. Now the CBI is saying when he was in London, he was trying to destroy the evidence. Now clearly at the helm of affairs, at the big question is, have they got the details of those bank accounts? As far as the accounts which were presented in the Supreme Court, there was no such data which was given. It was only a data which was given which raised certain reasonable doubts against Karti Chidambaram. But at the base of this, at the core of this, is the case of getting kickbacks, in the case of getting bribes. Now where is that money? And that is what Karti Chidambaram repeatedly repeated before the Supreme Court, that you do not have any location where I have stashed the money, and because you do not have that data, you do not have clinching evidence against me, and that is one thing that the CBI will have to answer before the special court.
Because right now what seemingly, at least what meets the eye right now, and if you just look at what has been presented, is that the CBI doesn't seem to have, Rajiv, more than a documentation more than 10 lakh rupees. 10 lakh rupees, which of course the Chidambarams contend is fee for the services rendered by Karti Chidambaram. Yeah,
and this trail of the remaining 3.4 crore will also have to be established eventually if you have to prove that he got
3.5 crores.
He got 3.5 crore as bribe. More importantly, they'll have to prove that this was against the permissions that had been granted. It could just be a coincidence that the second lot of permission has been granted. It could just be an influence. It will have to prove that there was influence involved.
You have to go beyond conjecture.
It will have to prove it. There was influence involved.
Right. And factually there. All right, so let's quickly take our viewers through the latest that we are tracking right now. P Chidambaram, son, Karti Chidambaram, was arrested today by the CBI. He was returning from London this morning and was taken into CBI custody directly from the airport. He had gone to London after a request he had given in the Madras High Court for foreign trips was granted. CBI, meanwhile, has alleged that a firm indirectly controlled by Karti Chidambaram had received rupees 10 lakhs from INX Media, run by Indrani and Peter Mukherjee, in 2007. Alleged irregularities were seen in Foreign Investment Proportion Board clearances given to INX Media for receiving foreign direct investment worth 305 crores. His father was the then Finance Minister. To just break it down for our viewers and what exactly, the crux of the case is right now, that today Karti Chidambaram, the son of P Chidambaram, is arrested in Chennai in a corruption case, accused of receiving bribe, kickbacks, you might call it, to clear foreign investment worth around 300 crores in television company INX Media. Now, what the CBI is saying is that this was done under the influence of his father, who was at that point of time the Finance Minister. Now, what has the CBI, at least in court, been able to prove? Well, the CBI has been able to prove a money trail of 10 lakh rupees, which in any case has been contended by the Chidambarams as possible fee taken by Karti Chidambaram for consulting with INX Media. Want to quickly go across to our guest, because there is of course a massive political angle to it as well, because even as we speak, the Congress, the opposition, is training its guns on the centre, saying that this is political vendetta. Dr. Sambit Patra, national spokesperson of the BJP, joins me on that. We also have Narayanan Lakshman, associate editor of The Hindu. Dr. Patra, what do you make today of the Congress, the opposition, crying foul, saying that it's trying to divert attention from what couldn't happen in the case of Mehul Choksi, of Nirav Modi, and now this is nothing sort of political vendetta because you're just going into elections in Karnataka?
See, in fact, this is a usual tactic as far as the opposition party is concerned. We know, we have heard this word political vendetta almost an umpteen number of times. This teasing policy of the Congress party, they get up in the morning and they start teasing the Bharatiya Janata Party's government in the center, that if we were corrupt in the yesteryears, then why doesn't your agencies work against us? Why don't you establish a case against us and push us inside the jail? And as soon as evidences are collected and as soon as the things moves to the court and people are jailed, then you have them teasing and crying. It is political vendetta. So you cannot have both these going together. I firmly believe that law of the land is superior. Independent agencies like the ED, the IT as well as the CBI are working towards it. And we have clinching evidences. We have seen that there is a trial of case in this case. As far as INX Media case is concerned, let me remind you of the fact that very recently after the CBI had taken permission and thereafter of the court and thereafter produced Indirani Mukherjee, who is herself one of the accused in this scam, and she had deposed in the Patiala court under section 164 in front of a magistrate, saying that, well, she had colluded with Karti Chidambaram to dupe the country of money. So it's but natural that they had downstream 26%, they had collected 305 crore rupees, despite the fact that initially there was no approval of the FIBB. The promotional body had not approved it. There was a show cause notice against this, and thereafter it was regularized. Why was it regularized? Because the front companies of Karti Chidambaram acted as consultants to the INX Media, and thereafter we see, it's not a rocket science. Karti Chidambaram is related to the then Finance Minister way back in 2007 as father and son. So of course there is a quid pro quo. This is no rocket science, but this country has a judicial system.
All right, but Dr. Sambit Patra, I just want to come back.
The law will take its own course.
Right, but Dr. Sambit Patra, I want to come back as a rebuttal. There have been many instances in many cases where statements recorded under section 164 have been taken back. But away from that, ultimately, what would be the crucible of establishing corruption? That would be the money trail. There's already been a fair bit of embarrassment at the back of what happened with 2G, where that money trail was never quite established. In this case as well, the main reason, which today the CBI says that an arrest has been made, is saying that it is because Karti Chidambaram was not cooperating and they thought he was going to destroy evidence. Other than the 10 lakh rupees, which they say that they have a possible documentation for a money trail that has been established, there is no word on the rest 2.9 crores of that money. There is no word on that. This 10 crores, in any case in the court of law, has been admitted to by the Chidambaram, saying that this was the fee charged by Karti Chidambaram to consult with INX Media. My basic point, Dr. Patra, is till the time you establish that money trail, this case is cold.
Preeti, first and foremost, very candidly, let me tell you, as far as fight against corruption is concerned, and that too a corruption which has bureaucrats as well as politicians entangled with each other, it's a very difficult case. No doubt we have to have an intention of fighting against corruption. Since umpteen number of years, we have seen as to how the politicians of this country have acted extremely intelligently, colluded with the agencies to see to it that they go scot-free. So thankfully today we have a system, we have a government which is not complicit with corruption, but which rather wants to expose corrupt activities, and that's what we are seeing. Secondly, and most importantly, to establish as far as the money trail is concerned, beyond the 10 lakh rupees, how much amount of the 3.5 lakh rupees went to the accounts, to which accounts, etc. is concerned, it is not for the Bharatiya Janata Party to establish the trail. The respective autonomous agencies like the CBI, ED, etc. would be establishing the trail. And let me also remind you of the fact that the chartered accountant of Mr. Karti Chidambaram, one Mr. Bhaskaranam, whatever his name was, he was arrested on 26th of February 2008, only a few days ago, and has been sent to judicial custody because of the claim by the CBI that he was the man who has been converting and in fact covering up these kind of money trails. So naturally, when these questionings are being done and the answers come to the forefront, I am sure that Mr. Karti Chidambaram and finally Mr. Chidambaram would also be nailed.
All right, but you know, that's what I'm saying. Mr. Dr. Patra, we're going to come right back to you, because ultimately, whether it's conjecture or whether there was quid pro quo, all that can keep going on, but a money trail needs to be established. We've seen a red-faced CBI in the case of 2G. We've seen what went down there. Is that what we are heading for? We don't quite know that. The court of law will decide. But
thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.